Okay, let me introduce you our farm. Our farm is for Slovenia. It's quite big because I don't know whether you know or not. Slovenian average farm is 7 hectares big. Ours is 25. About half of the land is ours, our own, and half is rented from other owners. This is a very common practice in Slovenia. And we have mostly permanent grassland and 1/3 of arable land. It's a very big exception for Slovenia. We don't have a lot of transportation costs, and we don't have a lot of border effects on the parcels, you know, because in Slovenia a lot of farms, actually majority of farms, are very dispersed. They are very small parcels, which is really a big problem for development and for effectiveness. So our farm is, from this aspect, quite different, and this is very good. But we'll see how it will be. Nothing is certain, you know, because we have half of land rented. We never know what will happen in the future. We rear only brown Swiss cows. This is the breed chosen with the aim of... Are you from Switzerland? Are you from Switzerland? No. Okay. Yeah, I agree. It's the best breed for cheese production. It is also the breed that is in Slovenia is present for nearly 300 years, and it's more humble. It's not that much intensive. The milk has more proteins, more fats than, for example, Holstein cows. So, of course, we need solids for the cheese, not the water. We put a really big aspect on on animal welfare. We renewed our barn in 2014, and we really chased the goals that animals feel really comfortable, that they don't have problems with laying down, standing up, that they don't have slippery floor, that they have really soft bedding, and we also have grazing for half of the year, from April to October, because we have that, like I told you, we have good condition for we don't have a lot of small parcels. We don't need to move cows every day from one parcel to another, so we actually can afford to have grazing. And our specialty also is mobile milking, because as you see, we're in the center of the village, and if we want to milk cows twice a day, we are not able to move cows from here to the pastures. The pastures are not far away, about 300-400 meters, but the problem is there are public roads where the cows should go, and there is no possibility to set the path every day and then clean the manure, etc. So we actually decided to bring the milking to the pasture. We are also a hay milk farm. We don't use any silages. We only use hay and grains, mostly wheat, corn, and barley, to equalize the energy and protein ratio. Because we cut the grass in the mature phase, we don't wait that it is already in flowering phase, because we need quality, we need energy, we need proteins for milk production, and not straw. And we have a lot of proteins, and we need way more, we need energy to add. This is the picture of our heifers at the pasture and our cows. And this is the picture of milking in the summer. This is actually, the principle is very simple. It's just the stationary milking parlor on wheels, nothing else. And this is the system is that 4 cows go up at once. The system is side by side, so the cows are milked from behind. They go up the ramp to the parlor, and then here in the front they get some grain, so they rather come up. And when they are finished, they go down on the other side. Cows used to this very quick. The first milking, when we actually started to to graze. The first milking, but at that time we only had 11 cows, took 4 hours. But it's, you know, before this cows were tied in the barn, so they were not used to walk even. But already the second was half of that. So they really used to it very quickly. But for example, now when the new heifers come to the herd, there's no problem. They just go up after other animals, and there's really no problem. And because we have a lot of hay, of course, we need machinery for that. We cannot move 1,000 cubic meters of hay by hand. It's physically really hard, not possible. And we use heat pump system. This is closed circle. It means that when hay is in the stock, we do not care what's the weather like outside. We already were drying hay when it was snowing and 4 degrees outside, because in last years really the climate changes are very obvious here, and it happens a lot that in May it's really cold weather, maybe a few days of sun or even not sun, just without rain. And we of course take these days to cut the grass and bring it to the drying facility. And then a lot of time happens that it's, I don't know, in the morning it's 5, 6, 7 degrees. And if we didn't have this closed circle, we would use way more energy to dry the hay. This was the barn. Of course it was new. It's not that beautiful now. But yeah, just to show the welfare, it's a rubber floor, deep bedded cubicles, very wide, very long cubicles without obstacles in front of the cows. The cows need the barn like they need it, not like we people need it, they need it for themselves. So we really have to look at that. Now in these pictures, here is straw, but now we use sawdust. It's way easier to manage the cubicles. It's physically easier, and we use a lot of less sawdust than straw, because when the cow goes out, they pull with their legs the straw out, and because sawdust is smaller, they put very little of it. This is a picture of heifers, pictures of my father and I, and like you see, we only feed hay, and we mix it with mixer wagon. We don't feed it long, we mix it with a wagon and we add grain inside, so we feed full TMR. Only in milking parlor, cows get about 200 grams of grain, but everything else from full TMR, there is no difference from the cow who has 40 liters of milk and to the cows who has 20 liters of milk. This is the system that is fitted in all herds worldwide, so we also adapted it. On the farm live 4 generations. The oldest is my grandma. She's 87 years old. Then is my family, my wife and 3 kids, and my parents, my father and my mother. So there are 8 people living, but we have 3 additional employees, but not all 3 for full time, because we are processing milk and there is no enough hours in the day to make everything by yourself. This is our family, and we are producing milk products. Of course, on that small farm, we only have 22 cows. We cannot live on milk production and selling to the other dairy, but 10 years ago, when I finished study, I decided to stay home and to develop the milk processing practice, and now we produce about 20 different products, from fresh cheeses, yogurt, quark, and matured cheeses, and we really chase the quality. We cannot compete with massive production. We are far away from it. We want to make a good living on our farm, so we really want to have good quality products. We sell very dispersed, and this is a very good practice, because last year, for example, the farms who are very concentrated, for example, on public institutions, when it was the first lockdown. For 3 months there was nothing. I cannot imagine what happened to those farms. I was thinking, I think that this is wrong model that you are really focused on one selling praxis, so we are really dispersed. We do a lot of more and more buyers come to the shop in here, and we also have a web shop from last year. We sell only to one kindergarten here in Trebnje, 3 kilometers away. And we sell most of our products through small shops, or organic or artisan shops, and a little also to high quality restaurants. This is the building that we are inside. This building was built in 2017, and we have a new dairy here. So before that we were processing milk in 2 rooms of the house in the cellar. But that conditions were not even close to comfortable, and we had to build a new building for this. We produce cheese in these vats. I will also show the video how we do it. This is the ripening room that you also saw through the floor. Yes, is that one? And now I'll show you the video.
If you have any questions,
yeah, please.
You can ask after the presentation of Tony. Domenico will present something in operation group, the operation which this farm is included in.
Okay. Producing cheese in our dairy actually starts in the middle of the night, because we make the cheese from pasteurized milk. I pour the milk to the vat the evening before, and I set the timer, so at 2 o'clock the vat itself starts to pasteurize the milk. Of course, it's monitored by sensors that the temperature is really as it should be, and at 6, or it depends when I start the day, at 5 or 6 the milk is prepared to add the culture in it. And then the picture I was having read it, and then these are cheese cards that are inserted in. When the cheese has structure of very, very thick pudding, is it no?
Pudding.
Okay. We cut it to the grain of size about the corn kernel. And then we mix it and we heat it to 37 degrees. We dry the curd, and then we pour it in the pre-press. This is wet, and also on the rear side is wet. So the whey is drained away, and the curd is held in the middle. This is the system because it's 1,000-liter vat. For some smaller farms don't do that. They just take the cheese with the mold out of the vat. But for this quantity, it would be physically too hard work. It's very good, very bad for your back, you know. And then this is pre-pressing, and when it's done, it's about 15 minutes. There is some cheese block here, and we cut it to pieces. Depends on the quantity of milk. For example, this batch was not completely full. It was about 800 liters. So it means 25 wheels of 3.5 kilograms, and then we put it in the molds, and then we press it. It's very interesting that the cheese curd is, you can shape it whatever you want, you know. When I was looking this molding at the course before I was processing it, I said this will never be round wheel, but it is. It's really interesting. Yes, then we press it, and next morning we put it into the salt bath, and then it goes to the ripening room. Yeah, where of course we have to clean it, we have to turn it around, and we mostly sell cheese when it's 3 months old. But now we also have one cheese that is ripening for more than a year. I must tell that on this year's World Cheese Festival, the cheese got a silver medal, so we're really proud of it. You'll also, of course, try it there. Some pictures of our products. And this is just the conclusion. When I'm looking to agriculture business in general, especially in livestock business, this is really life. This is really lifestyle. This is not just business or just a job. But if you want to have also some living, you have to organize in that way that you can take a day off, that you can take maybe a week off during the summer holiday. You go with children somewhere, because if you only work the whole life, what will you do? This, for me, this is not the way that I will do it. So you really have to maintain the focus. What is the goal and what is the source? You know, my goal is always good living, not the work itself. And of course, you have to work very well. If you in this business or in whatever business, if you start to thinking, oh, that's okay, that's good enough for something, very soon the business will go down. But still, I'm really convinced that you have to manage it the way so that you can live also, not just work, but also live. Okay, thank you. And if you have any comments, any questions, please.
Thank you very much.
Please.
Okay, thank you. Maybe to explain when you're preparing questions, with us is also local advisor. Maybe she can say some words about collaboration between advisory service and the farm. So that we solve the time. So Mrs. Anna Moder, she's local advisor in Predavanje unit. The Predavanje unit is the one unit of Agricultural Institute of Novo Mesto, and Chamber of Agriculture is founder of these institutes. Chamber is founder of 8 institutes in Slovenia, like Institutes of Agriculture of Novo Mesto is. So, Anica, prosim, da poveš, she will speak in Slovene language and Mateja with Dominika help translate to your understanding.
Lepo pozdravljeni, tudi v mojem imenu.
Hello everyone.
Sem Ana Moder, terenska kmetijska svetovalka, in sicer bi rekla, že kar 30 let je moja delovna pot se tukaj nahaja.
My name is Anna Moder. I'm a field advisor and I already work for 30 years on this field.
V bistvu s kmetijo Kukenberger sodelujem že več čas mojega dela na kmetijski svetovalni službi. Se prav poznam Tonija že tako rekoč od majhnih nog. Lahko rečem, da že od nekdaj je bil pač tak prijeten, priden fantič, ki je vedno iskal, kaj bi lahko še kaj novega naredil.
I have worked and collaborated with Kukenberger farm since I started the work of advisor. So I know Anton Kukenberger since he was a little boy. And she said that he was always, as a young kid, he was always searching how to do something new, something better. So this is just the way he is.
Tako rekla, prva pot smo imeli, tako rekoč, za traktorsko tekmovanje, se ga tudi malo učila. Potem nekako je šel naprej na to kmetijsko smer, je naredil fakulteto in potem smo se tudi enkrat pogovarjali, eno tako debato smo imeli, kaj bi naredili svojo kmetijo, kaj je smerimo ekološkim kmetovanjem.
So first we collaborated on a tractor competition.
Plowing competition.
Okay. And
Sem ga učila oranje.
she actually taught him
because she was a good plow woman. Exactly, in Slovenia.
And then this story of collaboration continued. They had a lot of time together talking what to do with this farm, how to develop it further on.
Nekako po jednom takem daljši debati sem nekako rekla njemu, če ti imaš stvari poštimane v glavi, da ti misliš, da je ekološko to, kar je, potem bo sigurno ta stvar ti šlo dobro od rok. Pa tudi potem je sama razprava tekla o mladem prevzemniku. Tudi to smo se nekako dogovorila, v bistvu je šlo tukaj za prenos iz starega očeta na njega, se pravi, smo preskočili en rod, se pravi njegovega očeta. Ta vloga je bila za mladega prevzemnika je šla dobro skozi, so bila odobrena sredstva. Potem smo tudi nekako se v ekološko kmetovanje vključili. Potem zaradi tega, ker je pač kmetija manjša, je pala tudi odločitev v tem, da bi se pač preusmeritev naredila tudi predelavo, se pravi kot dopolnilne dejavnosti na kmetiji, predelava mleka in to je to, kar tukaj vidimo.
So she, as advisor, she had in-depth conversations with Anton, and she advised him that he is sure that organic farming is something for him, then he must go this path. She also helped him with all the process of taking over the farm. He took the farm over from his grandfather. After that, they also had conversations about how this small farm could develop to survive with not only producing milk, but also products from the milk. Processing milk, yeah.
Tako bi rekel, sem še na koncu, da če hočeš, da dobro funkcionira kmetija, mora za tem stati celotna družina. In to prav gotovo pri Kukenbergerju je sigurno.
She also added that if such a farm can function well, it is necessary that all family is in this together and supporting. Yeah, this is it for now. If you have any questions, go ahead.
Thank you very much.
I have a question before we go into this operational groups. It's really always amazing when it's 4 generations of farming in this. And you mentioned your short philosophy that for you, this farming, the purpose of farming should be good living. And I was just wondering if this is also a philosophy that is shared by the elder generation and whether there were differences in philosophies. Obviously, your grandparents' generation had a different mindset and different. So, did you have these discussions? Did you have this intergenerational philosophy differences? That was my question.
Yeah, it's very good question, and it's it's actually, I would mostly say it's a main topic and main reason why the farm is successful. Because I know a lot of my colleagues who don't have the support from their ancestors, and without this, because you see, physically on the farm, there is a lot of unpaid job to do. You see, it's very different from other companies where everything one does is paid. On the farms, especially in small farms, it's not possible. And if you want to start a story like ours, this is really the key question. Because, for example, when we were starting, like Anna said, when I came up to my father with this idea of taking over the farm, actually, that's what he later told me. He was quite surprised. But for example, he never said no, don't do this. it's not possible, it won't work, whatever. No, actually, he's actually the main person here, because he was, before this, he was for 25 years, he was working on the farm only. But he was never owner of the farm. And you see, in our culture, it's very, very strange for someone not to ever take over the farm. And also with his brothers and sister, it was arranged that after my grandfather's death, my father takes over the farm. And you see, when I put myself in perspective of this, I can just say, wow, that's really, really, really a big deal. When I was in the situation 10 years ago, I was not thinking like that. I just actually I was way more full of myself. 23 years old boy from the college. I thought I knew everything, but now it's completely different. But yeah, that's how it was, and I'm really thankful to my parents that they gave me that much support. Also, of course, my wife. My wife is not coming from the farm, but their family has a transport business, so she also, when she was young, she also saw what does it mean to make money with your own hands from the beginning. Her father founded the company. He borrowed the money from every relative to buy the first truck, and then it went on. So, because when you have such a business, you cannot say, okay, for today it's enough, tomorrow it will start over. There are days when it's work from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. or something, but yeah, if you're not used to it, if you didn't see it when you were young, it's very, very difficult for people to accept it. Also, if it's not every day, but it happens, especially when you have kids. It's really, really, you see, the time management is really, really important, and the work can just pull you in. It's very easy to work all days long, but you have to maintain very, very, very strong to actually to remember yourself. Where should I be now? So yeah, it's really a big deal about your question. Yeah, and if people relationships were more clean, it would be a lot easier on a lot of farms. But yeah, it's like I'm really, a lot of times I'm disappointed, because in Slovenia, for example, former generations of my grandfather, for example, they only produced the food for the family. They did not sell anything. They were just living their life, and actually the speed of the life was very, very slow. What they didn't do that day, they did the next day, and they cared about it, but that was lifestyle. They didn't depend on any, I don't know, market or whatever, It was very different, and even a lot of people nowadays cannot change this mindset, It's completely different. People think that they have to just maintain their farm, but they work all the life, and their family is ruined, and they don't have anything from that work. But for what? It's really, really important topic, yeah.
But it's possible. It's possible.
It's possible, yeah, it's possible, but it's possible with really a lot of talking, a lot of adapting to each other. So this is very, very important.
Was it only a family project, or are you surrounded by other partners from the very early stage of your project, like restaurants or people who transform it, or other actors?
No. Actually, when we started, you mean when we started processing milk, or
all your life, all your project?
Actually, this was when I was thinking about how to make money from this milk and what to do. I saw that we would have to get good prices for the products, and then it's the question how and where to get good prices. It's very difficult to get good price, for example, in one retailer group, because they have really giant margins, and if they take 50% of the price, the price is too big for the customer, or the producer gets nothing. So we actually work with one retailer group, but this project I don't know how it will work on, because most of Slovenian retailers sell farmers' products, but not to make money on that, but only to invite people into the shop to buy a lot of different things, because local food is quite fashion today. So it's actually more a hook to invite customers, not to make money on it. Actually, I'm sure that for most of these projects make loss, but they make money on different products. And then where to sell, like I said, but also in restaurants, you know. I don't know how is in other countries, but in Slovenia, there is a lot of dishonesty here. No, the restaurants tell people that they buy local food, that they buy really good food, but in fact they buy junk. And really, this is common practice. Especially in Slovenia, in Ljubljana, where restaurants are just targeting one day foreign tourists that won't come back. Really, I had experiences from the chefs, not from the chefs, but from waitresses or something. They said it's one big lie, and this is a really big problem, because in front of the people it looks very good romantic story, but in real world it's one completely different. So, as I see it, there is no one best thing where to sell, but you have to search good channels to sell, but also you have to be positioned really well, you know. If you have good reputation and if you have really, really good products, then that's not a problem. But behind this, it's really a giant machinery to maintain the quality, to maintain the reputation, etc. So it takes time, it takes money, it takes work, it takes a lot of knowledge. So I hope I answered you.
I suggest that Carmen and Michael put the question, and then we continue with presentation of operations group, and then we continue with questioning, if you agree. Carmen, please.
Yes, okay. So I have a question. I mean, it's very interesting how you explain, I mean, that your project, your farm is a success, even if you maintain your sales, and so there's a lot of sense there. But linked to our project, I wanted to ask if you can tell us a component, innovation component, because I try to see that the unique in your project itself is the homemade milking parlor, which is mobile, but maybe you can find that in other countries. And the second is the way you produce. You use also, you said, heat pumps system. Perhaps you have think about using solar energy. I don't know. I would like to know if there is any innovative component apart from the scale of how you produce. That is a family business, you know. Apart from the commercial point of view, so the technical side or the approach. Basically, there's something new.
I would say there is nothing really completely new, but a lot of things on our farms are either brought from abroad or combined, developed on our farm. For example, we have we're the only provider in Slovenia of milk products, but I think that we are the only provider in general that sell our products in reusable containers, in glass containers, and reusable, yeah, in glass containers, and we actually take them back from the people who order by our web shop. So we send them packages in the whole country in cold boxes, not in cold transport, but in cold boxes, so we can take the standard transport. And when the customer orders again, the delivery staff brings him new package and takes the old one with the containers back. And then we wash the containers and we reuse the glass containers. And in this system we reuse more than 80% of containers, for example, for yogurt, for milk, for quark. Everything that's filled is in glass. This is one of the things that, yeah, now a lot of farms already copied the system from us, and they actually were here and we were discussing, because a lot of them were thinking about it. Also, for example, 5 years ago, the time was not matured, you know. Everything needs its proper time. Also, with our web shop, with selling cheese online in Slovenia, we are before time. It's really not common. It is common that someone orders the I don't know, computer equipment or something, but in Slovenia, web shops are in development. Well, last year it exploded, of course, like everywhere, but still, we're sure we're before time. So, yeah, we're really searching the new paths, new practices. Actually, this is not new practice. In the past, it was really good developed. You know, every bottle of water, of oil, of beer, you brought it back to the shop and you took new one. Yes. But now everything is in plastic for one usage. But I find it really wrong because in Europe we don't see that problem with the trash. But when you go, whatever you name it, in the countries that are not developed that much, you see islands of waste. This is really horrible. So yeah, we're trying to develop these practices, but for a small farm it's really expensive, you know. It's interesting that always in businesses it happens a lot that one small company actually develops some product or some service that one big company just copies and then sells it by a lower price, and then the first company that actually pioneered it goes bankrupt because people buy the cheaper version. But I hope in our case it won't do that.
That's because I mean, in certain cases you can't protect your innovation. In certain cases there is no way to protect, and there's a procedure. Yeah. So that is it's not only in this brand, it's in many products.
In everything.
So, and do you have so you're very innovative on this part, and do you have a dissemination activity, maybe to help other farmers not to make the same business, but to help them in their process to find their own solution? So are you connected with other farmers who innovate or who ask themselves questions about innovation?
Actually, I think a lot of it, how to do it, but it's quite a problem that it's a problem how to. I don't want to make big profits out of it, but my hours are worth a lot, not just in money, you know. Every hour that I work for a thing that does not make money for me, I take it from my family, and I don't want it. And in Slovenia, it's really that small market, and for example, by farmers, I find the problem that, and I was the same, you know, when you're at the start of the business, when you don't know it yet that much, you think that you know the best for you, what's good for you. But it's not true, you know. A lot of people went through your process, a lot of people can advise you very good advices, but it's a problem how to people who need this, to tell them that they need it, and actually, no, for free that's not a problem. But like I said, this information I can give, I can give information that are worth $500,000 for one person who is at the beginning of his developing or something. But when I said, okay, is it worth 1,000 euros for you? You say, whoa, that's a lot. But it's not a lot, you know. So that is the problem. It was a lot of discussion how to implement this in public service or to have some, I don't know, we said vouchers, for example, so that the farm can choose to who will go for advice. You know, that would be, for me, that would be very good, reasonable solution. Because a lot of farmers in Slovenia are very good, innovative farmers. Why wouldn't they be paid for the information? Because this information have very, very big values. But sadly, this system went out of this new strategy for the next 5 years. I'm really, really completely disappointed on it because that's a big problem. So, yeah, I don't know. A lot of farmers ask me a lot of things, really. For now, I mostly do it for free because I don't have a system for it. Yeah, and also I know that when I was at that phase, I would also appreciate good advice. No? So yeah, that's what.
But it's not the hay is one of the case when you when you collaborate with other farmers and make common activities.
Yes, in some of these projects, yes, actually this project are one of the good practices that are paid with public money, and also the project that Domenico will present now is really good example of actually a step forward in this. I agree completely. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Who are the main sources of innovation? Where does it come from? Where did you collect most? Is it Anna? Is it from foreign study tools, or is it from the internet? Where did they come, the main key innovation ideas for your business?
It's really a wide view, you know. If you ask me, the most important thing of entrepreneur in whatever business it is, you must have that wide view. Not narrow view that only you see it partial, but you need the wide picture. If you see the wide picture, what consumers want, what are the culture things, what are, I don't know, also what public money is supporting, also that's also a prospect. Then what's your ability when you have your good starting points. And then you have to collect them and to bring them together. That's the main key, if you ask me. There's never one thing. There are always many things.
Thank you. Last one question.
Yes, I have a question about the business plan. Was it easy to do it? And how did you get some support about it? And also, did you have? And I imagine you did. You get some money from somewhere. Europe, maybe.
The money from Europe for our farm came for the investments in the barn, in the dairy, also some equipment, hay drying. In last 10 years, we invested about $1 million to our farm, and about a third of this money was from EU funds, connected to Slovenian funds also. Directly for innovations, no. You have to know how to sell it on the market and how to implement it in your products. If you ask me, there is no other way. Every piece of this story makes good reputation and makes good trust in people to your business. So this is like a puzzle, you know.
That's maybe how much of the money comes from Europe, from your budget? Invest?
Like I said, 1/3.
Okay.
It was in 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah, like something like that.
To be a successful entrepreneur like you, it makes jealousy in the neighborhood. Sometimes in the village.
Oh, yeah.
How do you handle it?
You just have to stay focused out of it. That's the only thing possible. I know, I have also, like I said before, about the land renting, A lot of farmers here around, they're very jealous, and they're actually trying to persuade our neighbors who once were farmers, now they are not anymore, to rent land to them, because Kukenberger does not need anything of this, This is like, this the owners tell me, but that's how it is. I know that's how it is, and you have to accept it. I have no influence on it. I can maintain good relationship with the owners, but yeah, that's quite a problem. It happened 1 month ago when a farmer from another village has a parcel there. He was spreading manure. He spoiled the road completely, and he didn't want to come to tidy it. And my father called it, and there was, I don't know, there was a bomb of what you think you are. I cannot finish my work now. It's bullshit, But okay. But next time when he come here to plow, and he had very dirty wheels, I said, you can go on my pasture because there are no cows there, and you can clean the wheels there. But if I would argue with him, what would be no good? There's no solution.
Okay, okay, last question, but the very last question. For this period.
Okay, so my question is, so I understand that you shifted to organic farming, right? So what was the challenge for you to do so, where you were shifting, and how did you solve those challenges?
The biggest problem was mindset change, and I knew way too little about organic before that. It's a funny story. With my college colleague, we actually made a bet that I owe her a pizza if I ever became an organic farmer, She was already then organic. Because I was really, I don't know how it's in other countries. In Slovenia, a lot of organic farmers are organic only because of subsidies. They get more payment and they just do nothing. They just seed something and then they do nothing. And when people see it, and I was completely the same for it, they think that this is the practice of organic farming. You cannot do anything about it. But again, this is bullshit, But when you start to gather knowledge, when you collect good knowledge about good practices, when you see that things are possible to do, actually you see that the conventional farming is a very, very, very big system where a lot of different companies about chemical industry, etc., have really, really giant profits here. In organic, they would be bankrupt. Because in organic, you search good rotation, good crop rotation, you search mechanical weed control, you search not too big, not too intensive production because the soil is spoiling them. But in this story, there are very little taxes and very little profit for other companies, and this is a problem. When I was thinking about this, and when I saw the main differences, I said, okay, but this is not really a lot of difference than we do now, because also before we were organic, we don't have plain parcels. The most are sloped, but not that much that you cannot manage them with machines. But still, on the slope, the fertilizers are drained down to the valley, and there is very, very little of crop yield on the slopes. And I said, well, it's not very big change, let's try it. And actually it worked out very well, and we still now in organic, we produce good quantities of milk, we produce quality milk, and I see that the most problem here is water. It's about droughts in the summer. If the year is good, we can make really good yields in actually every crop, also in organic system. So for me, it was the mindset, and I think that for most farmers, it's the biggest problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Then just short information about operational group Hey, which in this farm is included in, and then we continue with questions and answers.
Okay.
Dominika is our Matea and my collaborator. We work in the same department, so we invited her to present us that operational group. And Mr. Robert Peklai is a photo maker and film maker, video maker. So at the end, we produce also small video from today's visit.
Okay, hello everyone. Yes, as Igor said, my name is Dominika, and I work on Chamber of Agriculture as a project co-worker for the project Hay Milk and Hay Meat. And as you see here, it's the sign of the trademark Seneno, so that means hay products, which was also founded in this project. The basic information about the project, it's about to finish in a week. It was a 3 years long project, and the partnership was mostly focused on farms. So 5 farms were members. The leading partner was Chamber of Agriculture, and then also Institute of Agriculture of Slovenia was a member, and then another company where they have the solutions for drying hay, and then one certification body of Slovenia, one dairy processing factory, and 5 farms, so Kukenberger, Zadravec, Kršinar, Apat, and Osenik. So this is EIP project, and so as I said, it's about to finish. The idea came bottom up, so from the farmers. There were a few farmers that started to develop the hay production in Slovenia. So abroad, in Austria, Germany, or in Switzerland, they already had this certification process already established, and in Slovenia it wasn't. So that was the main problem, because they were trying to do and to produce the higher quality products, and the other farmers, they just marketed somehow that they had the hay products as well, but they didn't have it. So they decided to make the certification scheme on hay milk and hay meat. So the purpose was to establish the whole production chain, so to ensure the fair price of agricultural products, and to benefit the farmers and not to harm the environment or the others members in the food chain. So the main goals that were actually also achieved was to register the trademark Seneno, so that means hay meat and hay milk products. And it was also established the institution Hay Meat and Hay Milk, where the hay farmers gather, and they have bigger power in the market, or they do the promotion together, and it's better if you stand together. We also have an online page where the hay farmers can put on their products. So it's like a market page. It's called Dobrota slovenskih kmetiji, goods from Slovenian farms. We also did the manual for farmers and for advisors, so how to develop on the path from the field to the fork. And then developing new products from hay milk and hay meat. We organized open days and demonstrations on these farms, so that others could come and see what's new and how these hay farmers work and develop. We tried to optimize the technology of drying hay and how to produce better feed for animals. We made the modern technological instructions, and we developed models of supply for families, for public institutions, for restaurants, hotels, and I think the biggest goal and the biggest achievement was also that in the European legislation there is a Slovenian expression Seneno MLEKO, which means hay milk or hoy milk, that's equal on the European level. That's, I think, the biggest achievement. And we also developed the quality scheme for hay meat, which is not yet on EU level, but we did the proposal. So it's now still in Slovenia, but it will go to European level. So it will be protected as traditional specialty, guaranteed as the hay milk. So the main problem and how we solved it, it was how to produce good feed and hay for the animals. So we did the field tests mowing, test driving, and the farmers and the Institute of Agriculture, and we were included in this when we did these tests. And we developed, well, the farmers developed well, it's not new products, but products from the hay milk and hay meat. So, as Tony mentioned, aged cheese, that was one of the 3 products, and organic beef salami from the organic farm Zagreb, and then a plain and fruit yogurt from the Mlekarna Celea, that's for the biggest, for the factories, yes, the factories, yes, so on the bigger scale. And we did, I think, a lot of how to transfer the knowledge. So we did a lot of trainings for farmers and for advisors. We somehow adjusted to this Corona time, and we did it online. And so, as I mentioned, open days on farms and demonstrations. 2 weeks ago we had an international conference with guests from Switzerland and Austria, where they told us more about their path on their hay path, I would call it. And the manual for farmers and advisors is also very important, especially for the new ones. We did a lot of promotion on our webpage, when we informed the farmers and advisors and the public about our events. And on YouTube channel we posted all our trainings. Yes, we recorded them and then did the videos, and the Facebook Seneno, so the hay milk, the hay meat was also. Yeah, that's the contact information from the leading partner, and that's just a short introduction to our project, not to be too long. So, any questions? Yes.
I have a question. So thank you very much for this presentation. Very interesting. So the lead of the project is the Chamber of Agriculture. Okay. And then, so you were talking about the trading marks, or you have got one trademark.
Yes.
That's right. And it's Seneno.
Yes.
Okay. And that you are in process for the meat.
Yes, it's for meat and for milk.
But this one is only for milk,
No.
or both?
No, for both. For both.
But
it's also for cows' milk and meat, and also for goats, for sheep, and also for horses.
But on EU level, just...
EU level is just for milk.
okay.
EU level is just for milk, but
Yeah.
on national level, the both.
Yeah, this
Yes.
is what I was trying to know. And okay, yeah, no, it's very interesting. I was trying to see all because I have seen labels from the products, that also trademark, which is different. So
Yes, I think the trademark is here on the side of the big one. It's this one.
okay.
So and this one is the European sign for
Yes. For
protected.
yes. For eco, yeah.
Yes.
So okay. So another question is that I mean, I see that your project is finished now at the end of December.
Yes.
But you've been in, I mean, we have COVID, and I see that there is a lot of activities into dissemination. Have your project been affected, and it was not a really important bottleneck for that? Is my question. COVID.
Če ste imeli zaradi COVID-a, kakšne tudi težave, ki so vplivali na potek projekta?
Well, I think we adjusted quite quickly because, well, I think we are a quite young group and we were used on Zoom and all these platforms, and we used other tools to make this interactive.
Yeah.
So I think it was quite good, and the visit of these trainings were fairly good. I think more than 50 farmers every time, which is, I think, good for this project. Yeah.
Actually, it was less time consuming because we were gathering on Zoom, not in Ljubljana.
Yes.
Because we have now more than 2,000 of these groups in Europe. My question is, would you ever do it again, such a kind of project? Because in our questionnaire for the European Innovation Partnership Operational Group, 25% of the organizers said, oh, never again. Thank you, because of the bureaucratic burden. And we discovered, obviously, the bureaucratic burden from one region to another is different. So, how is it in Slovenia? Director doesn't listen.
I think the bureaucratic burden is big.
It's
yeah,
too big.
It's too big. And I think 2 weeks ago we had this big conference when we talked about these projects, and one also counted how many clicks you have to make before you confirm one bill. It's 17, which is crazy. So yes, it's crazy. And when you report it, it's too much.
Who makes you crazy? Is it the Slovenian regulation or the European regulation?
I think, yeah, I think both. And then when the program, you know, it's overloaded with everyone on it at once, it's then starts to block.
They are very
That's the problem.
They are very
I think
innovative.
otherwise we would do it again, because when you see
We will upgrade.
yes, when you see the results at the end that you helped somebody, that's the
Thank you.
yeah.
Can I just comment in this area? Really, it's really big deal that the project came from bottom up, from the farmers, which came with needs. We need this and this and this. Okay, it fits in the EIP project. Good, go in. We didn't have problems with finding farms. We didn't have problems with finding partners. But actually, we saw that obviously some institutions have already too many of these projects, and you have to really push them hard so that do the things that they must do for the project. Because we really want this project to have results, to have applicable results, not just to be for the project, you know. There are too many such projects. So also in the chamber and also between the farmers, there's a lot of discussion that this is one of the best projects that was made, but the reason is in farmers, in the funding of the project, you know.
Congratulations.
I have a question for Anton. It's directly linked with what you just said. What direct benefits did you found of that EIP operational group for yourself and for your farm?
It's very little of direct effect. It's mostly okay. The good thing is that that you have some hours that you invest of developing products or something. You get paid for them. It's not a salary that one would want for research, but okay, it is something. And the most of the effects are in long term. There is in Slovenia. There is, for example, in this market, there is very little producers of hay products. But now, as we see it now, a lot of farms claim to be hay farms, but it's
fraud. It's
a fraud, and we actually have to convince other farmers that they should go to be certificated, so also that the consumers will trust us. You know, without the trust of the consumer, and consumer must trust the brand. If we're not under one brand there is anarchy on the market, and that's a big problem. Okay, there are always players on the market that will use it for their good, but we are really convinced that we have to stick together and go together on it. So the biggest impacts are long-term, definitely. If you agree, I will bring the plates with the cheese now, and you can taste it, and we also, of course, will have a discussion with everyone.
Yes.
My question is in relation to the role of the partners.
Yes.
You have mentioned that the gender is already, that there were partners. So how do the other partners contribute to your project?
The Institute of Agriculture, they did this feeding manuals, how to feed the animals, and and they did the analysis from the feed that we collected on the farms. The certification body helped us to register the name Seneno MLEKO on the EU level. They helped us to make the certification scheme for hay meat on EU level. And then was Pino. He was also he focused on the advising for the drying systems. So he's expert in that. And then we did the most of the dissemination and all these lectures, and we were the leading partner, and we had over the finances. Yes.
Were there any finances for the certification itself, or the farmers paid for themselves?
They paid for themselves. They were just to develop it, but it wasn't paid from the project.
To be engaged as an advisor in such a project, eager for you, they raised hands, thousands of advisors to do this, or did you have problem to find them?
I can say that our advisors in all 8 advisory institutes are involving in different EP projects. I think that around 70 or more than 70 EP projects are led or participating by our advisory service. So we are involved deeply in that measure.
You're quite the best then.
I don't know. Yes, but that's the first period of that project, as Dominika said, finishing, and then this second phase starts. Hopefully, yes, hopefully.
So as an advisory organization, what specific roles do you have, and what were the challenges?
We didn't understand you very well.
So as an advisory organization, what role did you play, or what was within the operational group? What activities and tasks?
You know, our advisory service play the main topic is how to transfer knowledge from research to the farmers, and how to create the other institution to solve the issues from farmers. So this is coordinative and also experts role.
Then just put it here.
Yes.
In the whole process, were there times when you had this conflict, this misunderstanding between? I mean, it couldn't have been all recount some of these moments you had and how you resolved it?
I think the weakest point of this project was when the one who founded the project and started it left the group. After the 1 year.
But yeah.
Yes, but he wasn't working on the chamber anymore. So then the leader of the project, the person who leaded the project changed, and I think that was the biggest.
It was quite difficult, yeah.
It was difficult, but somehow we managed it in the last year to catch everything up. And it was also quite hard to get all the project partners, especially farmers, to get on the meetings and to get the things done, and then you have to be pushy and precise and strict. You have to do that, and that's the deadline, and you have to set the deadline always 2 weeks earlier if you want to make it done in time. And
I know very well that.
But it was, I think it was.
There's always a problem.
That's happening everywhere.
There's always a problem you see when you know that on the farm there's a lot of work that is not done, but it should be, and then you have to go to the meeting, and then you have to make a report, and then you have to actually remember the hours that you were doing for that period, but and then days go, and we farmers are really not used to write things down. We're used to get things done, but when you need to write what was done, it's way more difficult because we a lot of times find it a stupid job, But it's also work.
So so it's for you it's a burden, all this administrative stuff.
Yeah, it's quite a burden.
Have to report and well, that's.
And in my experience, there is always, not always, in our case, we started to talk about this hay market in Slovenia about 7 years ago. So it was a lot before this project, And in that time, there were 2 or 3 farms who were already dealing with it, and they saw that they will need some system. There was no system about certification, etc. So, and when there's something like this occurs, there is always some adrenaline. There is always a lot of expectation. There's always a lot of, I don't know, that enthusiasm that on some point loses very much, and the group must actually rebuild. But it's not done in 2 days. There is very quickly half year. So yeah, but this is just how group work goes on. If we all had, I don't know, this project and one similar project, we only worked for this. If you ask me, that would be easier. But because all of us have a lot of work on the farm and families, and also 3 of our members have companies in addition to their farms that do the other things. The days are just too short. And if you're not focused to one thing, there's 2 months, it passes like nothing. So, but yeah, I think that we managed it quite well. So the results of this project are good. If you ask me, they're very good.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's also to, I guess, so you were talking about planning. There's a lot of farmers, or maybe in the past they were not planning at all. But you need to plan because it's not like for today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
But you need to get running. So I don't know, maybe you're thinking also future generations. So what's maybe what your kids are going to do? To know something. It's not that, but
of course.
How much milk do you process each day?
I very much pay attention to details, you know, because in this work it's really important, and hygiene, etc. A few days, a veterinary inspector came here and she asked, "Do you always have that clean?" But she never told that she would, you know. She just come. I said, "It's completely natural to me. It cannot be different, you know." But she said, "Oh, I'm used to completely other things." I cannot imagine how they work. Very interesting.
Yeah. And do you have the opportunity to have a look at your animals?
Most of the milking makes my father and mother. They also go. She also goes to Kukenberger when they're absent. I mean, and for others. And for example, every year in July or in August we close the dairy for 2 weeks, and we go to vacation. And also the employees go to vacation that time. And at that time we actually sell the milk through the Farmers Association, which makes us big loss because the prices are way too low for our quality. But still, it's about high quality, you know. For now, because I don't have a substitute for technology, and there's also selling and deliveries. Okay, for now it's like that without me, okay, a few days it can go, but 2 weeks now.
2 weeks, what days?
It's too much, yeah. Yeah, we take 2 weeks off and then we start again. For now it's like that.
So, do you want to tell a bit more about the cheese on the page?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
yeah, no problem.
Explain that.
If you look the white ones, in the center, that's quark. It's fermented quark. And the white piece, that's fresh cheese. It's actually semi-hard type, but it's not ripened. It's just made, and it's very mild taste. It's very good, for example, to put it on pizza or something, because it gets very good crunch, brown crunch. It's very tasty like that. Or for salads or something. And then the triangle pieces, those are ripened cheeses. There are 5 different types of 3 months old cheeses. This is between 2 and 3 months old. It's ordinary, then it's smoked. The darkest one is smoked. Then it's with pepper and with herb mixture. It's herb mixture. It's thyme. Now here my English comes short. There are 5 different garlic herbs in that one. And then the other one who has also red spots, there is garlic, ginger, horseradish, sweet chili, and onion. The most is from onion, the most of from onion. And then the darkest one, the hardest one, is that one that's 1 year and 3 months old. No, we don't. We don't. Actually, I was trying this at the beginning, but I had very big problems. I want it very much, but I don't want to take, because now we process all the milk that we have. If I will start to produce a product that's from raw milk, I should lower the milk quantity for other products, but I don't want it because customers are used to it. If we manage to buy some milk from other farmers, it's one milk is go to organic hay milk, or if we manage to grow our farm, then I'll definitely start to process also raw milk. Well, I don't say it's very big demand, but it's a very, very common question from our customers. Do you produce raw milk? It's very common. I know that there are not that much customers that buy this, but they are very low. That's for certain.
You're talking about
No, now not. When we increase production, we will definitely start producing also. Not but first we have some cheese or something like that.
safe.
Yeah, that should be.
In
You know, it's quite a problem in cows. It's very way easier in sheep or goat because cows have loose manure and sheep and goat have very hard manure. And when the cows shits on her lay cubicle and then lays in it, you can wash it with steam or something that eats cat bacteria on it. And those fecal bacteria are very, very aggressive animals. You put them to 35 degrees, they explode. That's a very, very big problem. This man, in the beginning when I started it, I didn't have enough knowledge to manage it.
Actually, in Germany and Austria and Switzerland, we think about an association of hay milk, organic hay milk producers. Do you have it already in Slovenia?
For now, all farmers are just in hay milk and meat association. It's not separated organic or not. Because you know, there are very few organic farmers with milk in Slovenia. Very few. The reason, I don't know what's the reason, but maybe in the last few years there are some more, because one of the biggest dairy, the Kukenberger, started to process organic milk also. And I know a few farms who decided to transfer to organic for their supply. But all of others, not all, most of others process their milk by themselves because there is no bigger dairy who processes organic milk in Slovenia. There is actually only one who processes only organic milk. I guess that they process about 5 million liters a year, something like that. It's still small. But things go slow. It's also quite a problem for farmers. For example, in the hay association, of course, you have to pay something that you can be a member of it, because you also have way bigger effect from it if you're a member. But in Slovenia, I know it's quite a problem for a farmer to give to such association 100 or 200 euros a year, because the impact of that money is way bigger than the input, you know. But okay, I hope it will change slowly, and when farmers will see that we work well, they will come. But they have to know, they have to feel that they will also gain something, not to put in something, but also gain something from it. And it's okay. But it's interesting also, for example, we have the Cheesemakers Association. And there are some dairies that process, our dairy processes 130,000 liters a year. There are some bigger dairies, on-farm dairies, who process 1 million or 2 million liters a year. And actually, exactly now, this month, we have a very big topic to increase the payment for the association, because we really need it. We want to employ technologists who would transfer the knowledge to the farmers that we don't have it. It's whole Slovenia, for about 500 on-farm dairies, has only half of one employee technologist. But that technologist also must do the bureaucracy, etc. So, you know, that's nothing. And this problem, and when we discussed it between the cheesemakers, you know, we would increase the payment, and then you will have, I don't know, 1 day a year that the technologist will give to you for free, for example. And for dairies who have yearly income of 1 million or more, that's a problem to pay 500 euros for the association for that service, you know. It's quite a problem, but I'm sure that if everything is for free, you do not appreciate it. You have to participate in payments. So because some of them are really fighting to get some public funding. Okay, no problem, part of it, but not all of it.
Who makes the training for the on-farm dairies? Is it the chamber, or is it the institute, or is it the
also chamber, and also cheese association, and we invite a lot of times foreign technologists. Also, there is one school, agricultural school in Naklo. They also have, they are specialized for dairy. They also have courses.
On farm.
No, on farm on that school, and you can apply
But
the
for
course.
small scale.
Yeah, for small scale. Yeah, but it's, you can learn the most if the technologist comes to you, so he can see a real picture, what you do, how you do it. He can directly tell you, okay, maybe a little change, do it like that, it will be better or something. If it's a good technologist, you can gain a lot of